Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to reorganize my bookshelves. I don't know if you have seen this, but recently Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin roasted my bookshelves. And this is why I'm doing this video. Okay, no. But honestly, I've been thinking about reorganizing my bookshelves for a while because I sort of sort it by read and not read. And obviously, as I read more, I need to shift things around. But also, Gavin has recently started to do like roasting your bookshelves types of videos. So I did submit images of my bookshelves. And he was very kind and sweet about it. But he did point out a few things. Some I agree with, some not. I was also called out for not finishing series. How he figured that one out, I do not know. So today we are reorganizing these bookshelves. I recently hauled some books as well that I need to put up on the shelves. We'll see how this will play around. Also, one thing that I just realized that you can't see, but I have a door here on my shelves. And not much in there, to be honest. I thought that perhaps I will try and unscrew this and it will actually give me 3 more shelves to work with. That is the plan. I actually made an attempt at planning my new organization system for these shelves. So I'm gonna send you back to past Charlotte, who just sat down by her computer and attempted to make sense of all of this. Not me, the shelves. Hopefully you will enjoy that. Okay, so I am by my desk and I am ready to properly plan my bookshelves now. A couple of weeks back when I was bored at the office, I started to sort of plan for the bookshelves, but I thought that I would do it properly and nicely on my computer instead, because why not? I have the image that Gavin reviewed, or more like roasted. He didn't roast it so badly, I'm just joking. And then I very quickly made just like a plain layout of what my bookshelf looked like. It's 3x7 with like columns and rows. What I want for my bookshelves is I do enjoy separating read and not read, and I also do enjoy having a few favorite types of shelves. So I'm gonna stick with that, but what I think I will aim for now is mainly to sort it by genre. So I'm gonna keep it to like romance, fantasy, and also other sort of categorizations such as non-fiction and YA. I feel like that's what's gonna make the most sense to me. So I'm just gonna make a quick layout of this and we will see what it will look like. So basically what we can see in this image already, I have my unreads on this left side of my shelves on the first one. I then also have unreads on the first, second, third and fourth shelf. Then the lower 3 are sort of read. Then it gets messy. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attempt to write down with text what I have, what I want to do with it. So like this upper right corner is my Twilight shelf and I'm gonna keep it that way. I like having a Twilight shelf. It's a bit hidden by the flower there, or not flower, the green thing, the plant, that's what it's called. So I'm gonna put a star on the ones I feel certain about. Wow, wonderful. The shelf below that is also a shelf I really enjoy actually. It's the Folk of the Air and also Six of Crows shelf, or Grishaverse, I guess. So Grishaverse plus Folk of the Air shelf. Hope that makes sense. That one will most likely stay the same as well until the day I get Stolen Air, because then it's not gonna fit on there anymore. That's a future Charlotte problem. The one below that is my V. Schwab shelf. Once again, another favorite shelf, definitely going to stay the same. So V. Schwab, my Schwab shelf, if I can spell. Wonderful. And the one below that is my Bachman shelf, and that one will also stay the same. So these first 4 on the right hand side I'm very certain about. Now is when we will get to the tricky part. What I'm gonna say is I actually really enjoy having a red shelf. Red is my favorite color. I've always sort of wanted or have had the idea of having a 100% red shelf in my bookcase. So I think, I'm not certain, it's gonna depend on how everything else works out, but I would like to still have a red shelf. Honestly, the things I put the lowest on my bookshelves are things I don't typically want to see. The way it is now is that I have some Harry Potter books, the box set for that, in the lowest middle shelf, and also some non-fiction, and then on the right lowest shelf I have books I'm currently reading and also some YA. But what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make both of them YA. I think that makes sense for me considering how I'm currently reading and keeping up with things. And it could potentially be YA, TBR and YA red, maybe. Not certain about that, but that's an idea. So the box set would stay and then some other things would move around. I am working on keeping series together, so I think I'm gonna continue with that. So I think that maybe this lower one could be fantasy series, and I also think it would be nice to have the next one to it, like fantasies as well. Or no, I think it's because what I have now with fantasy series in this middle shelf I do sort of like, so I might keep that. Maybe I'm gonna need like a sci-fi and thriller shelf. Not that I have that much of it, but that's why I feel like they can go together, and they are typically darker books as well, and that could be the upper shelf. This red shelf is gonna mess with me, ain't it? I think it will. Okay, I'm just gonna put down all of the genres I'm gonna want. I'm gonna want a romance shelf, I'm gonna want a litfic shelf, I'm gonna want a non-fic shelf. Okay, one thing that's going on in this image, I do have like a door? What's it called? I'm losing words. I have this thing blocking 3 shelves, but I really have nothing there. So my plan is to remove that one, so which is gonna open up 3 new shelves for me, which I'm very excited about. If I have fantasy series and then fantasy series in this middle part could be fun. Another thing to consider is that like this middle part, I would say row 3, 4, 5 and like 1, 2, 3, those are all what's typically seen in a video when I film it. So I want it to represent my reading with favorite authors or fantasy reads or like things I tend to read, which is why I do have my fantasy series there and also some Batman and stuff. So I do want to keep that sort of like me. I'm gonna have a fantasy standalone somewhere as well. Sci-fi thriller up there. And then fantasy standalones could be here. And then maybe fantasy series, like romance, and then another romance. So we're gonna have like romance TBR and romance red, maybe. I guess this makes the most sense. Maybe litfic red. And then non-fiction, yeah, maybe like non-fic red and non-fic TBR. Could that make sense? I don't know like how much space I'm gonna have either. Like if I open up 3 more shelves, it's gonna open up a bit more space for me, right? Sci-fi and thriller, let's keep them up there. Let's keep it dark up there. I think we're gonna have darker books there. And then like fantasy standalones. I know Gavin told me to do it alphabetically. I don't think I'm gonna do it alphabetically. I'm gonna do it by genre. Maybe I do want some fantasy on this shelf. I think I do want some fantasy here. Litfic red, no. I do sort of want to separate it as much as I can. Like TBR and red. So if I do that, but what will this middle be then? Maybe keep the box set there basically. Yeah, maybe. And then more fantasy series. Would this make sense? Fantasy, let's do it standalones instead. And then this one is just up in the air. I'm gonna attempt to display more books as well, because I do feel like I'm gonna have the space for that. Currently the only book I really have facing forward is A Man Called Ove. I used to have multiple books facing forwards before, but that's because I used to have the space, now I don't, but I'm gonna make sure I get the space. How do I feel about this? I'm keeping those 4, definitely. I feel like I will keep it sci-fi and thriller-esque and like horror-esque, those genres I don't read as much, and also like darker spines up there. And then fantasy standalones I'm gonna try and keep together. I'm gonna attempt to keep fantasy series together, and like other series I do have like a sci-fi series and stuff. I'm gonna attempt to keep my red shelf. Let's put a star on that one, although I might switch it around a bit depending on the books, I guess. Litfic TBR and Litfic Red, Romance TBR, Romance Red, I might switch those two, so maybe these might get a bit switched around. And here as well. This might make sense. You know what? I haven't planned for this single square, but I'm gonna keep it that way, and I'm gonna see how things will look. But I feel quite content with this one. We have a game plan. Let's attempt to execute it. I'm excited. Okay, let's fix these freaking bookshelves now. So now you've seen what we're gonna do. I guess I'm just gonna get to it, and how I'm gonna film this, I'm not certain. But let's freaking do this. Let's go. Let's see if I will be able to unscrew this door. I really don't have much here. I basically have some fake plants. Before I decided to attempt with real plants, I also have some like dust jackets. And then like sheet music. Nuts from Christmas. I didn't know where to put this. I'm gonna first attempt with the door actually. Oh. Ah. It's off. Oh my god. Oh my god, how cool. It's off. Oh my god, how cool. Okay, what will I think of this? I don't know yet. I'm gonna keep these screws somewhere because I have a feeling I'm gonna want them. I need to step away and see what this looks like. Damn! I suddenly got so much more space. Cool. I think this is good. I'm gonna clean this out, and then I think I will get started on the actual reorganization. Exciting! I think I'm gonna put on some music and we're just gonna rock out and have a good time. I might also turn off this camera and use my phone instead because it's gonna be easier to work with as I'm doing things. Hi, I just had a shower. It's 2 days after I reorganized the entire thing, so let's ignore this and focus on this. So here we have it, the reorganized bookshelves. And I gotta say, I really love how it turned out. So I'm gonna go through where things are, what the system is. I love it. It makes sense for me. It looks like me. I'm very happy with it actually. So let's go through it shelf by shelf. Up here we have, it was gonna be like sci-fi horror thriller. It's a bit mixed, but basically this one is sci-fi horror thriller shelf to be read. This one is sci-fi horror thrillers I have read, except for that one box, I realize now. But I also had to mix in some of my like standalone fantasies, like Cersei, Elantris, it depends on how you categorize it I guess, Legends and Lattes, which is getting a sequel, Pet, which is in a connected universe. It hasn't been easy, so I know it, like this is a bit mumbled jumbled, but I've read all of these books at least, except for a box, which I've started. Then we're getting to my fantasy shelves, which is very exciting. Fantasy is definitely the genre I own most books of. So here we have an attempt at fantasy stand-alones to be read, so books I have not yet read. And I do feel quite certain that most of these are stand-alones. Priory of the Orange Tree was a standalone, but then got a prequel, but close enough, right? And then we're starting the series fantasies. I've also put all of the books, I think, on all my shelves in alphabetical order. So yeah, following Gavin's advice. So here we have firsts in fantasy series, going down, continuing with that. All of these are books I have not yet read. This, I also managed to get my red shelf back. This is only fantasies that are to be read. I'm very happy with this. Obviously this one is not as read as the other books, but it's the only way I could make this work. And having this red shelf, it just really feels like me. I'm very happy with it. It sort of centers the bookshelf in a way, I guess. Here we have my Litfic and Contemporaries TBR, so books I have not yet read. We also have my bookmarks. But yeah, also some historic fiction, stuff like that. We then have series I have read and or started. So like I've read these two, I'm in the middle of the second book here, in the middle of the second book here, and I will start this one very soon. Here is my romance TBR, and as you can see, there's room to fill it up, which is really cool. We then have romances I have read. Let's move this one a bit. So these are my red romances. Once again, we have some room. And then also this random copy of the Czech translation of Twilight. I didn't know where to put this, so it gets to be here. It's, I don't know. But it works for the shelf. Here we have non-fiction to be read. Once again, we have space. Here's a bit of a mix. So this one is non-fiction I have read. We also have some graphic novels like Fangs and Everyone's an Alien. We have some poetry like Flux and Milk and Honey. And then we have two random mass market paperbacks. I've read both of these. I just didn't know where to put them. So that's why they are there. But it sort of works, except for the fact that this keeps falling. It sort of works and I can fill it up, which is exciting. Down here, it's a bit messier. We have some sheet musics to my piano, because I have my keyboard right here, so I thought it would be nice to keep it close actually. And then we have some YA books that are to be read. I do feel a bit sorry about putting my YA books there because I can't really see them, but it somehow makes sense to me. So, but I realized I have read this one, so I'm gonna move it somewhere else. Here we have that box set and also some graphic novels that I'm hoping to expand this collection. And then we have YA I have read, or once again a series I'm in the middle of, but basically YA. Okay, let's move up from here then. Here we have Contemporary and Litfic I have read. I read all of these, which is very nice, and I really like this mix, so it's good. Up here we have some favorites. We have the Poppy War, which I obviously love. We have Magic of Blood and Sea, both the bind up and the individual books. And then we have A Song for the Wild Built, and I'm really glad that I could actually have a book facing out, because I didn't manage to work it out on any other shelf, but here I can. I love the series. I want to get the second book as well. I read both, but I want to get it physically. And I have this little dragon that I got in one of the bookshops in Edinburgh, which is really nice. So I actually really love how this one turned out. Although I think I will get at some point the smaller paperback edition of The Burning God, because it's starting to annoy me. It doesn't typically annoy me, but it's starting to like annoy me a bit, I feel like. And then for the rest of these shelves, I really haven't made many changes, or none, to be honest. So we have my Bachman shelf with all of his bibliography except for one book, which seems to be out of print now, so there's no way for me to get a hold of it. I have these like Beer Town stickers that I received when I got the signed edition of The Winners when it was released. I also actually have 2 copies of the 10-year edition of A Man Called Ove. I pre-ordered one, and then I actually got one when I went to the movie screening of A Man Called Otto. It was like an author event with Fredrik Backman. So I have 2, and also I need to show you though. When I went to that event, he actually signed a couple of books for me. It's like I have personalized signed books from Fredrik Backman, which is really good. He signed Beer Town and Actions People for me, which was super cool. Above this shelf we have my W.E. Schwab shelf. So all of her books, I read all of them except for this Savage Song. We also have a little Kelmaresh candle from my friend. She does character sense, so that's really cool. Here is my, I guess, YA fantasy series shelf or something. Basically it's Folk of the Air and then the Grishaverse, and I just love the way all of these books look together, and these should not be there, I realized. The day I get Stolen Air, which is like the companion duology to the Folk of the Air, I'm gonna need to move these ones somewhere else. But I love the look of like the spines here, the foiling and like the shininess. Perfect. And then this shelf up here is my Twilight shelf. It's just my Swedish editions of Twilight and Midnight Sun. And then we have the actual Midnight Sun in English, and we have the first graphic novel of Twilight, and then 2 paperbacks of the English editions, and then once again 2 character sense, which is really cool. And that's it for my shelves. I'm very excited, I love it a lot. Rearranging it and having a look through all of my books really made me so much more excited about getting through my TBR. I also once again have some space in occasional places, so it's not 100% full. But I do know that as soon as I read another fantasy, my system will instantly get messed up. But that's future Charlotte's problem. So, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you liked this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.